Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Hope you're all having another great Thursday. Can't believe it's already December and in the throes of Q4. So, thanks again for joining me today. Let me get our comments here. Let me know down in the comments. Make sure you guys can hear and see me okay. Looks like everything should be good. And we're going to kind of jump right into it here today. Two main things we're going to kind of go over initially today is going to be on the new split line items functionality that we have to make personalization easier when customers add multiple items instead of multiple quantities instead of multiple line items. So we're going to go over that real quick. And then we're also going to touch on the priority or expedited shipping methods that you have available to you now from various suppliers that can help extend your kind of holiday selling season further as we get into closer to the deadlines and cutoffs. So I'll show you guys a little bit on how that works, and that's available in there now for everybody. And most of our suppliers, not all of them, offer priority shipping. Pretty much the ones that do, we have in there one way or another. This is kind of V1 of this project. So you're able to, on any orders that are on hold, you can manually change the shipping method. And then in the future, we also have plans to be able to automate that so it can pull in whatever shipping option the customer actually selects. So that's something that will be coming down the road at some point. But we wanted to make sure to try to get this in there for you guys ahead of any of the holiday deadlines this year. So that's why we wanted to kind of get this V1 out there as soon as we could for you guys, so you can start taking advantage of that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull up my screen here. And we'll kind of start going over things. As always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. We should also have plenty of time. I don't think either one of these two topics are going to take too long to really be able to cover, depending on how many questions you guys have. So we'll have plenty of time to cover any questions you guys have at the end. And then we can all get back to the hustle and bustle of Q4. So let me share my screen here. Share screen. Okay. All right, there we go. So also going to kind of walk through, I guess, the manual ordering process so that we can kind of mock up a couple orders and I can show you guys what that looks like and kind of what your options are then on a few different things. So let me just come in here. I don't have anything in particular prepared for this, but let me just find, let's go with a shine-on product here. If I can spell acrylic correctly. And let's just go into this guy here. And I'm going to set this so it does not auto-fulfill so that we can take a look at those options and make some changes if we need to. And we're going to go ahead and just place a manual order here. So if you haven't done this before, to place a manual order here at the top, you'll have a option for add a cart. So you'll just select that, and then it'll give you all of the variant options that are available for that product. So just select the one that you need and go add to cart here. If this is an Etsy order, you can actually put in your Etsy order number here. What that does is when the product ships, we're still able to submit that tracking number back to Etsy for you. So you don't have to try to keep an eye out for it and copy and paste the tracking information over. So let me just put in some fake address information here. We'll get this in the system here. Let's see. Okay, so let's do that. Let's also do, I shouldn't have filled out that information yet. Let's go quantity here of, let's do 4. Perfect. So we got a quantity of 4. Good there with our address. So we'll create order. Yeah, so good question, Eva, on the manual order. Can you give instance where you want to submit a manual order? So Now, actually, the times that you would want to submit a manual order have decreased because previously, so for example, here, let me just go into the order that I just created. This is an order for 4 items. So a lot of times, especially, this doesn't happen quite as much on Shopify, but it still does some. But in particular, it happens fairly often on Etsy, where a customer will see this personalized order or personalized product, and they want say 4 ornaments, and they want a different name on each of the ornaments. They will just add one to their cart and put all 4 names in the personalization field. Previously, what you had to do was actually cancel that order and then go back in and place a manual order, adding the 4 line items. Now that we've added this split items functionality, you don't have to do that. So I'll show you that here in a second. But there still are potentially other times that you'd want to place a manual order. Say if a customer ordered and they say, oh, I changed my mind, I want a different shirt or something like that. Any of those types of changes, sometimes you need to place a manual order. Doing a manual order like this is also good if you're wanting to place a sample and have something shipped to yourself. You would just put in the manual order, but put in your address for the shipping information, and then you can put in a manual order that way. So there's a few cases where you would want to do a manual order. I'm doing it now just to kind of mock up an order so I could get one on hold here to show you some of this other functionality. So the first thing I wanted to show you guys was the split items functionality. Again, this is especially handy if someone is ordering, say, an ornament with a personalized name on Etsy. They've put 4 names in the personalization field, quantity of 4. They're obviously expecting to receive 4 separate ornaments instead of, 4 ornaments with the 4 names. So in this case, what you can do now, instead of having to cancel and place a manual order, we have this split items functionality. What this is going to do, instead of leaving it as 1 line item with a quantity of 4, it's basically going to convert that and duplicate that line item. So you would have 4 line items now with a quantity of 1. So if I click this option, it's going to go ahead and break those out for me. If I had personalization turn on, I'd be able to edit personalization and be able to change the artwork for each one of these individually and be able to edit the personalization for each one of those individually. So that's kind of the gist of the split items functionality. Should save a lot of time on placing manual orders and all that as well. I also didn't talk about it when I was placing the manual order, but you guys will also see now on manual orders, and even here, if you ever need to come in to edit an address on an order, you have the option of being able to copy and paste the full address information into the field here, and it'll fill out all of the fields for you automatically. So it makes it really easy just to copy the entire address string from Etsy or wherever you're getting the address from, and be able to paste it into here and pre-fill those fields without having to bounce back and forth and copy and paste. So thought I'd point that out as well. Stephanie is asking on the split, any chance we can do the split on an order we already processed? Probably not, but worth asking. Yeah, so this is actually another good scenario, talking about when you might need to place a manual order. So if you get an order in Anywhere POD and you process it, meaning you go ahead, review all the personalization, and we click on release hold. Once we click release hold and it goes to the print provider, you're not able to make additional edits inside of Anywhere POD because we can't be confident in knowing what the production status is of that order. So if you need to change artwork, or as Stephanie's saying, they've processed it and sent it to them, what you'd need to do in that case, if you need to make a change to the order, you would need to cancel that order with the supplier, cancel it here in Anywhere POD, and then just place a new manual order. So that's kind of how you would handle that process. Okay, so that kind of covers our that new split functionality. Again, if you have any comments or questions on that, feel free to drop that into the comments below. Now, the other main thing we want to talk about today is the options now that you have for shipping method. And this is going to be on any order that is still on hold from any of our suppliers that have this available. And I'll run through that list here in a minute. Essentially, what this allows you to do is while it's on hold, you can select your shipping method. So you can see here for a Shine On order, for example, I have the option of just the standard shipping or the expedited shipping. These shipping methods are available from the suppliers they're available from. They're available to everybody. So none of them are gated to any kind of a subscription. So you don't currently have to have a subscription with Shine On to be able to offer expedited shipping in this way. So that's something to keep in mind as well. We do on any of these try to provide any relevant links. So, for example, on Shine On products in particularly, some of their products are not able to have expedited ship. They don't offer expedited shipping on some of their products. We don't have all of those. You will still see this shipping method even on those products, but it won't work. You won't be able to get expedited shipping on them. So essentially, all of their kind of original standard products, I would call it. So any of the jewelry, the acrylics, the journals, wallet, any of that type of stuff, all is able to have expedited shipping. If you click on this link here that says view compatible products, share that tab, you can see here what products are available. So essentially we've got all of the necklaces. There's some more jewelry. Let's see. Here's all the acrylics. Those are all available. Bracelets, watches. Let's see. That's still what I would call jewelry. The new bundles of the acrylic and the jewelry, those qualify. And then the leather and the leather wallet and graphic journal are both available. So the new stuff, like the ornaments, their acrylic ornament isn't on this list. I'm pretty sure their acrylic ornament can have expedited shipping. It just didn't get added to this list. So I would bet if you're selling that and curious, you can reach out to their support and ask. But I think that one is eligible. The other ornaments and the blankets and the coffee mugs and some of that other new stuff that they've added is not eligible for expedited shipping. So that's something to keep in mind there. Okay, so then you also have here on any ones that have it available, we have a view rates button here. So again, that's just going to take you to what those shipping rates are if you select that priority or expedited shipping. So you can kind of see what that looks like here, which I believe right now to send out Canadian orders, you do need to upgrade to that shipping method. So that's something to keep in mind because there's the whole Canadian postal strike. With Shine On, at least that is what's needed there. So I think that pretty well covers Shine On. Let's look at what other are available here. Let me pull up that list. Okay, so we have, I'll talk about Printify here in a second. We have Custom Cat is available. Custom Cat gives you the option of economy, ground, 2-day, or a standard overnight. So that's a really nice option. I'm pretty sure their ground, 2-day, and overnight options are a UPS option as well. So it's nice that you have that amount of flexibility. So if you are selling some Custom Cat products, especially if they're scaling, you can add those shipping methods. Let's see, Shine On, we just talked about, and then Reliable POD as well has a standard and a priority shipping option as well. So those are all of the suppliers that are available. As far as Printify goes, so Printify right now, we have the option for standard and priority. So the standard is what you're used to having go out. They do have a priority method. They don't really promote that or mention that a lot in any of their literature. It is different for each product. They don't really publish those rates. But we should be able to get those. We ran into an issue where it wasn't pulling in the rates correctly. So we are working on an update that in the future, if it is, as soon as we hear back from them, we'll have it set up that if it is a Printify order, and you want to see what the priority rate is for that particular product, you will be able to get that information. We're just working out the finer details on that. So those are the two Printify options that are available. Printify also has two other shipping options. One is called Economy and one is Express. Not all products and not all print providers are able to offer the Economy and Express. So economy is kind of a step down even from standard, in particularly the Express, so economy is a little bit slower shipping method, but is a little bit cheaper. We're working on getting that added to the system. Again, we had a couple details there we had to work out with Printify that we're waiting to hear back on, that we should be able to have that available as soon as we hear back from them. And then the same thing on the Express. Except what the Express is, it seems to be a faster order processing time as well. So that's an interesting thing to look out for as well. And they do have more published pricing on the Express, and that's kind of the faster shipping service that they usually tend to promote. Okay, very cool. Stephanie says, it does. 6 of my expedited orders yesterday were ornaments. So I'm assuming she's referring to the acrylic ornaments that I was mentioning before. Those can go out expedited. But the other 3 ornaments I don't think do. The other like glossy white ornaments that they have, I don't think that those are eligible. Just assuming we would need to manually update our shipping profiles beforehand to cover the extra costs. Yes, you would. And I can kind of go over that a little bit on what that would look like to set those up. So you would want to put that in there to cover that extra cost. And let me walk through a couple scenarios on how I would set that up. Let me just find the information here on here. We'll look at a custom cat template, and then let's also look at a Shine-On template here. Okay, let me get Etsy opened here. So we're gonna look at those shipping profiles. Let's see here if we go back to let's look at acrylics here. Let's go create new listing so we can look at the shipping profile on this one. So I'm going to go view on Etsy. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is now come down to shipping. So depending on what shipping profile you're using, if you've been using the same shipping profile that gets created by Anywhere POD, all of your I guess at least products that are in a similar group, right? So your square acrylics are all going to be assigned to the same category. Your circle acrylics will be assigned to the same shipping, not same category, but the same shipping template. So you should be able to just update the one template, and it'll update and add those options to all of your products. So if I come in here and go to change, I wanted to go to edit. Now here I'm going to leave that the same. So we've got standard shipping. We don't want to change that at all. We're going to leave standard shipping the way it is. You see here for US, we've got our $537 and $395. So we can come down here under shipping upgrades, and we want to say add a shipping upgrade. We will leave the name of Express. Let's see, does Shine-On tell us what shipping service is used? USA priority orders, we use FedEx. Okay, perfect. So here under shipping service, I can say FedEx. It doesn't tell me. Yeah, I would reach out to Shine-On and ask which. So when I'm looking at the shipping service, I know it says that they're using FedEx. I'm guessing it wouldn't be home delivery because that's still a 2 to 5 day processing time, whereas Ground Advantage is the same 2 to 5. So actually, Stephanie, if you know and want to drop that in the comments, or anyone else knows what FedEx shipping service they use, but you'd want to select that shipping service here, because that's going to give them an accurate number of days of when to expect to receive their item. So here now we're going to looking at the rates here. They're saying USA priority is $10.95 and $4.95. So here, what I would do, I would actually charge more than the $10.95. You can just do, what I say it was, $10.95 and $4.95. But you also have to keep in mind that you're going to have additional Etsy fees on top of this as well. So I usually try to cover those. So if you're adding a couple bucks to this, I wouldn't be afraid of that, especially as you're getting closer to the holiday cutoff time. You're going to have more people that are willing to spend extra on shipping. But this is the minimum that you're going to want to put in to be able to cover your shipping costs. And then same kind of with the other suppliers as well. And Stephanie's saying, don't be afraid to charge more than $5 or above actual express shipping. They will pay for it. Yeah. So if you look at the standard shipping, you're at $5 something. I wouldn't even be afraid to, I would probably raise this up to that $5.99 limit, because then you're covering some of your fees there. And then on the upgrade, I would add a couple bucks to that too. Stephanie says it's 2-day FedEx. Even better. So we can go FedEx 2-day. Perfect. So set that to FedEx 2-day. You're going to want to set your rate here. And then you'll have that set. Like I said, you'll need to do that on any of the ones that you want to offer that on. And then as of right now, you will kind of need to watch out for that. If someone selects that option. So that when the order imports into Anywhere POD, before you approve it, you're also going to need to then check that box to upgrade it. That's that step that we want to automate for you guys in the future. But for right now, you would just kind of need to check that box. Stephanie said international varies a bit, but it's 2 to 4 days depending on where. So yeah, if you decide that you want to do, I mean, really, I think we're probably already getting close. I forget now. I don't have it pulled up, but I think we're probably getting close to their international cutoff, even for priority shipping. So it may or may not be worth setting that up. Canada in particular might be worth doing it, just because you kind of need that updated. Actually, I would probably go ahead and just set all Canada orders for the standard shipping to be at $15. Because anything, so Etsy's new shipping algorithm, they want you to have your shipping at $5.99 or less. But that's only for domestic orders, so you don't get dinged on international orders. And with the Canada postal strike, you kind of have to upgrade those to Canada priority for those to go out right now. So I would just set my standard to 15 on the Canada ones. What was I going to say here? Yeah. So then on international, you would just do the same thing. Here you have the option for international, and to be able to set those shipping services here as well. So that is how you would do that. Now for Custom Cat, since they have so many options, you can actually add multiple different upgrade options. So here, if I go, so they have a ground, a 2-day, and an overnight option available. So they kind of use this lightweight, heavyweight, depending if it's drinkware. If you follow these links up above, it'll tell you kind of what product is assigned to kind of what shipping category with them. But you will essentially do the same thing, except you will select the different services here. So if you come back over here, if this was a Custom Cat listing, you would just want to add multiples of these. And you can set this to a custom upgrade name here too. So I would probably even add their ground option, even though it may not be that big of a difference. You've got a ground advantage of 2 to 5 days. I think they go UPS ground, which is 1 to 5 days. So it doesn't seem like much of a difference. Costs a couple bucks more. Again, I would add a little bit more to that so that it's worth your time to go in and check that on orders and upgrade your orders. But if you're getting the money for it, like say we're doing lightweight drinkware, ground, let's see, economy, the kind of standard economy is $4.99 and your ground is $12.99. So I'd bump that up to like a $14.99 and do that. And then you can also add another one. And then here, I would say custom. What was this? I think they have a 2-day option. That's $22. So I would say 2-day for shipping service. We're going to go to the UPS. What's their 2-day option here? They've got an expedited 2-day, second day air. I would probably go UPS expedited 2-day. And then as 22, I would go to like $24.99 at least on that. And then make sure to grab your additional item costs. And then they also have overnight option. So I do another one here for overnight. And then let's see, UPS Express, next day air. I would probably contact Custom Cat to know for sure which one they're doing. What do they call it here? Do they tell me? Yeah, they just have it listed as overnight. Overnight, deliver Monday through Friday. So you can double check with them what that overnight rate is, but you want to then just select that here. So what I was showing here is you can basically have multiples of these. So if this was a Custom Cat listing, the customer checking out would be able to select from standard shipping, and then they would be able to see all 3 of these shipping upgrades. And I think you would probably be surprised, especially as you get closer to shipping cutoff times, how many people will actually pay, like even for that overnight shipping. Like it gets to a point that there's, some last minute shoppers out there that, just don't care that they would need to spend $39.99 to get a coffee mug the next day, right? Like saying it sounds kind of ridiculous, but there are plenty of people that are willing to do that. So don't forego the potential sale for that. So something to look at, especially as we're getting closer to shipping cutoff times. The other thing that you want to make sure of as we get closer to shipping cutoff times, and especially as you're kind of missing that mark, Etsy will tell you on your listings what the expected arrival time is. So what you can do is open up your listing in an incognito browser and put in, like a California address, New York address, and make sure that, especially once we cross that cutoff time, that is telling the customers correctly that their order is not going to arrive until after Christmas. So, and even kind of leading up to that, the few days before that cutoff, make sure it's also saying that they will receive it in time for Christmas. So you'll want to adjust your kind of processing time in Etsy to make sure that you're lining up with those dates along the way as well, to make sure everything's kind of meeting the customer's expectations and that you're also not losing out on any sales. I know sometimes people ask after the cutoff, if I've got a listing that's been selling, should I, pull it down or anything like that? I would say definitely not. So you'll still have people even after the holiday cutoff, even when it's saying you're not going to receive this order in time for Christmas, you're still going to be getting sales on those listings. There's plenty of people that they're just fine with getting the product late. They're gonna print off a piece of paper and give it to the person. I can say I've done that several times over the years, where they're unwrapping a piece of paper instead of the actual present because I didn't order it in time. Like that happens to plenty of people. There's also plenty of people that have multiple Christmases that they're celebrating, and they may not be getting together with the rest of their family until New Year's, and are fine with exchanging presents at that point in time. So you'll still be receiving orders throughout that time. Don't try to shut off your listings or anything like that. So okay, so let's take a look here at what questions we have. All right, Jill is saying, is there a shipping charge already recorded on a shipping profile in Anywhere POD? even when the POD uses calculated shipping charges. Yes. So if you're talking about, say, like MWW, where you can set up a calculated shipping rate, the initial shipping profile is going to get created for that listing is going to be a flat rate shipping profile. So if you're wanting to charge calculated rates, you need to go in and adjust that and set up a shipping profile for calculated rates. In particular, if you're using MWW, the weights and dimensions are going to be added to the listing. So you can easily turn on a calculated rate profile, but that calculated profile isn't turned on automatically. If you're offering free shipping over 35 with Etsy, will the shipping upgrade be excluded and expedited shipping charges will apply? So I'm 99% sure the way that it works, if you have free shipping over 35, that free shipping is going to be based on your standard profile here at the top. It's going to be based on this. So they're going to get free shipping. So instead of charging them $5.99, they're going to get free shipping. If they still decide that they want to upgrade, they can pay then for an upgraded shipping upgrade. But it's not part of the free deal, if that makes sense. It doesn't change the creation time through the POD provider yet. That is still the same. I'm not sure if I follow what question you're asking there. Can you try rewording that? I'm not sure. Not sure what you're asking. I'm sorry I didn't understand how to update the arrival time on Etsy for the buyer to see the correct delivery time. Okay, let me just see if I can pull up here. Let me see if I can pull up a listing and kind of show you what is shown on Etsy. Let me just go to a random listing here. Okay. All right, let me share this tab. So this is just kind of a random listing here in Etsy. So what you can do is pull up your listing here and you'll scroll down. You can see here, order today, get by December 7th to the 16th. So it's going to show you an estimated delivery time. And this estimated time is going to be based on the processing time that you have on orders in or on the listing in your store and the ship time. So this is like actually when the customer is going to receive it. Yeah, so they're taking the carrier's latest transit times. That's why they're also asking for they want actual like what carriers you're using now, because they use that in the calculation here to show the customer on when the customer is going to actually receive their order. So you can come here, and I think this should change for different zip codes. So like if let me see, where's this thing shipping from? Texas. Let's see what happens if I put in a Richardson, Texas zip code. Seventh to the 13th. I think that's the same thing that I showed, didn't it? Let's see here. Nope, 7 to 16. So it changes based on where the product's being shipped to. So this is where I was just saying you want to take a look at this on your listings as you get closer to the time to make sure, especially if you have a listing that's really going wild, as you get closer to the cutoff date for that print provider, you can kind of keep an eye on that and make sure that everything's kind of in line there and that it's showing accurately to the customer that, hey, you're probably not going to receive it in time for Christmas. Now, even with the cutoff dates that, Shine On and everybody else is going to put out there, that doesn't mean that anything that's ordered the very next day won't make it for Christmas. depending on where the customer lives, a lot of times they still will make it for Christmas. So you just need to make sure that your order dates that are showing here is fairly accurate, and that it is showing that it may not be there in time for Christmas, so that the customer knows when they're coming in here and placing the order that it's clear that there's at least a chance that it's not going to make it to them in time for Christmas. And the further things go, the further away that date should get. So hopefully that answers your question there, Sabrina. Let's see. Does anybody have any other questions at all? Again, it can be about shipping or anything else that we've covered today. But if you have any questions about anything else to do with Etsy or Shopify or Anywhere POD or anything else, feel free to put those in the comments down below. It's Q4 and we're all kind of in the throes of it, so I won't keep you guys here any longer than's needed if there's not any questions, but want to give you guys an opportunity that if you do have any questions that we can answer those for you. Cool. Glad that makes sense, Sabrina. Very cool. I am not seeing any questions. I always try to give it just a little bit longer because there's a little bit of a delay. So usually I start wrapping things up and then all of a sudden I see a question and stop and go back. So, but it's looking like either you guys are all very busy and have a lot to do, which hopefully is the case, or I did such a good job explaining everything that you just don't have any questions, which is possible too. Alrighty, not seeing any questions. Just wanted to say thanks for best customer service ever. It is our pleasure. Thank you for being an awesome customer. Very cool. Alrighty, everybody, that should cover us for today. Get back at it. As always, if you guys have any questions throughout the week, feel free to reach out to support. We're more than happy to help. I hope everybody continues to crush it up through Christmas, and you all have a very, very successful Q4. Alrighty, thanks a lot, everybody, for your time. Take care. Have a great day.